two videos give kind of the same situations but different places, so that's how we are going to interpret today's topics here. We are from Group 4 doing reviews the differences and similarities, and investigates how these differences and similarities affect non-native speakers or Malay speakers who are learning Mandarin Chinese versus Mandarin speakers who are learning Malay.
And for your information, we actually do a survey to collect information from 30 respondents. Majority of the respondents are age 18 to 20, which is 63%, and then followed by age 21 to 23, 26.7%, 24 to 26, 6.7%, and 27 to 29%. To 80% of respondents are female and 20% are male. Most of them are native speakers in Mandarin Chinese, which is 63.3%. Malay native speakers are 26.7%, and other than that are Chinese Cantonese 6.6% and English 3.3%. Level of language proficiency by both languages learners are mostly intermediate, which is 46.7%, and the least are superior 10%. That's enough for of the background things, and now let's move on to the linguistics differences between Mandarin Chinese and Malay. My name is Su Jiayi and my metro number is 8207689. What I'm going to talk about is linguistic differences between Mandarin and Malay. So the first one is the pronunciation. Some people might find it hard to pronounce new words from different languages, but some might not have any problem. Based on the survey, the majority of them vote natural, which means it depends on their own level of proficiency in that particular language. Learning a totally different language is challenging. For non-native or Malays that learn Mandarin Chinese, they're quite hard to understand the tone in Mandarin Chinese because Malay is not a tonal language, while Mandarin Chinese is a tonal language. Mandarin has 4 main tones and 1 natural tone. Tone is not only a component of speech in Mandarin, but also a key factor in discussing word meaning. As example, mother, ma, first tone, while horse, ma, third tone. Each of the tones give different meaning. So, if you pronounce a word in different tone, you might be saying a word that could have a bad meaning. Learners need to pay attention to the correspondence between tone and the word meanings. Other than that, people whose native language is Mandarin find it easy to learn the phonetic parts of Malay. They need to familiarize themselves with new phonemes and syllable combinations. However, Mandarin native may need to adapt to the usage habits of certain consonants in Malay language, such as voiced consonants, which are not common in Mandarin. At last, phonetic differences have a significant impact on the language learning experiences of Mandarin and Malay speakers. The tone system may be the most challenging part when learning Mandarin.
My name is Hu Enxi. My mention number is 8205885. Now let's talk about writing system of Malay and Mandarin Chinese. It's an important part of any language and play a big role in how people learn to read and write. While it is a clear different ways of writing, it also makes learning harder or easier depends on the learner. Malay uses the Latin alphabet like English. Each letter stands for a sound, and the words are written exactly as they are pronounced. This makes Malay much easier to learn. For example, the Malay word "kuda" house is spelled just how it sounds. This simple system is especially helpful for students who are reading English or other languages that use the Latin alphabet. And now let's talk about the Mandarin writing system. Mandarin uses character symbol-based writing system. Each character represents a word or part of a word. This is very different from systems that use letters to show sounds. To learn Mandarin, students need to memorize thousands of characters, and a big problem is that Mandarin characters do not show how to pronounce them. You cannot tell how to say it just by looking at it. Students need to spend a lot of time learning how to write and say each characters. Mandarin characters are also connected to Chinese history and culture. This makes it even harder for people who do not know much about Chinese traditions. Since most of respondents are Chinese, they think the Malay writing system is not that hard because they have studied the English alphabet since primary. It's kind of the same, so they don't have think the Malay writing system is hard. On the other hand, the Malay speakers face difficulty to reading and recognizing Chinese characters because everything is new for them. But they could learn it by looking at pinyin, which is the sentence system of romanized spelling for translating Chinese.
Now I'm in charge of telling you about grammar and sentence structure. Language is a tool that helps us to communicate. Since Mandarin and Malay are two different languages, they have their own features in grammar and sentence structure. This gives learners a really big challenge to communicate. The basic sentence structure in Mandarin is the subject-verb-object structure, the same as the Malay, but in some cases, the order of words can be very flexible. For example, in spoken language, if some part needs to be highlighted, it may put it in the front of the sentence after it. This flexibility makes the experience of Mandarin more diverse and vivid. Compared with Mandarin, the Malay grammar is simpler. In Malay, verb forms don't change with the state. This means that learners don't need to memorize as many verb conjugation rules as they do in Chinese. Some respondents find it quite hard to understand the sentence structure, even if it is the same basic sentence structure. Maybe because they are just not used to the word in other languages, while some find it is quite helpful for them. Next, a distinguishing feature of Mandarin is its context. This is because Chinese doesn't have strict morphological variations, such as tense and gender. Therefore, Mandarin uses a number of quantifiers, classifiers, and auxiliary words to help experience semantics, such as 我吃了3个苹果, which means I ate 3 apples. 3个 is a quantifier that modifies 苹果. 了 is an auxiliary word, indicating that the action has been completed. The Malay language is actually more straightforward, without complex morphological changes. Malay depends more on vocabulary and word order to experience. Due to historical context, Mandarin and Malay share many of the same words in certain areas, especially in modern terms. For example, the Malay word television refers to television in English. In China, people also call television TV in daily conversation. This situation could make the learners easy to understand and relate to the new things that they learn.
Hi, my name is Nuruna Binti Arif with matrix number 8209509. A lot of differences in both of the language, but will you believe me if I said that there's also a similarities in both of this language? Yeah, that's right, there is actually similarities in both of this language. On that, Malay and Mandarin Chinese have the same sentence structure, which is subject, verb and object, SVO. Let me give an example. Let's say Ibu saya pergi kedai in Malay and Wada mama cu sanggan in Chinese Mandarin. So both of these, what I just said just now, is mean my mothers went to the shop. So, Ibu saya and Wada mama is the subject, and then pergi and cu as verb, and then kedai and sangdian is the object. So you could see the structure of these two languages. It's kind of the same. So you could see that's right, but actually I believe that if the tenses is getting more complicated, it will be different in both of the language. Other than that, both of these languages also rely on time indicators to express past, present, and future actions. Interesting, isn't it? Indicators is important because it shows us when something happened. Even though both of these two languages are different, but when they use some kinds of the same things, that make them relate to that. So it makes them easier to understand how does the system works. Try to imagine if there's no time indicators, when you speak, it might lead to misunderstanding when you speak in certain language. So yeah, time indicators is important in both of these languages, so that's make it the similarity of it. Use time indicators like in both of these languages, like today, tomorrow, and yesterday. So it's kind of the same in both of languages. It was just the language is different. Yeah. Another similarities that I found is Malay and Mandarin Chinese. They both like use simple pronoun systems. Actually, kind of true. Malay and Mandarin Chinese, the most used pronoun words is saya and wo, which means I, awak and ni, which means you, and then mereka, taman, which means they. So it's kind of the same but different.
First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Zhang Zeqi and my metric number is 8207548. We already talked about differences and similarity. Now let me get through the effect of learning the language. We can see that language learning has a profound impact on daily life and communication. First one is changes in daily communication. From the chart, majority of respondents believe that learning a new language has an impact on daily conversations, which shows that language learning not only enhances their communication skills but also brings some challenges. Learning a new language also makes the accent and pronunciation changes. Accent and pronunciation are common problems when learning a new language. More than half of the respondents said that their accent changed after learning a new language. This shows that the pronunciation habits of the native language will have an impact on the pronunciation of learning a new language. Other than that, learning different languages can help the learners improve communication skills and help them communicate with broad audience. Learning a new language can help learners better integrate into a multilingual environment. For example, after Malay native speakers learn Chinese, they can interact with the Chinese community more easily, such as ordering food, shopping, and other daily activities become more convenient. Similarly, after learning Malay, Chinese native speakers can more smoothly deal with government affairs or establish connections and enhance communication with the Malay community. While learning a language can improve communication skills, learners may sometimes cause misunderstandings in conversation due to inappropriate wording or unclear expressions. For example, Malay native speakers may use the wrong meaning when using Chinese idioms, and Chinese native speakers may find it difficult to accurately express some concepts related to Malay culture. This problem is particularly common in the initial stage of language learning. Language learning has a significant impact on Malay and Chinese native speakers in daily communication, accent, pronunciation, and social communication. From the chart, we can see that learning a new language can improve daily conversation skills and expand the scope of communication, but at the same time, there will be some difficulties in accent and pronunciation. However, these difficulties can be overcome through continuous learning and practice. Learners can not only improve their communication skills, but also better adapt to the multicultural social environment.